Jasmine Crockett walked into that hearing room like she always did, prepared. No fanfare, no entourage, just a binder, thick, dog-eared, filled with data, and a quiet confidence that didn't need to announce itself. Across the aisle sat Senator J.D. Vance, relaxed, almost smug. He'd done this dance before. The script was familiar. Talk about law and order, lament cultural decay, spin fear into applause lines. And for a while, it worked. His words were polished, his tone detached, the kind of performance that usually gets a free pass in rooms like this. But then, a slip, a muttered phrase, 6 words dripping with contempt. Just send them back to the zoo. The room didn't gasp, no one jumped up in outrage. Because here's the thing about racism in places of power. It's rarely met with shock. It's met with silence. The kind of silence that says, we all heard it, but who's brave enough to call it out? Jasmine Crockett didn't need bravery. She had something far more dangerous. Clarity. Watch the tape. There's no dramatic pause, no deep breath. Just a woman removing her glasses, setting them down, and asking the simplest, most devastating question. Would you like to repeat that for the record? In that moment, the entire power dynamic in the room shifted. Vance stiffened, the chairman froze, reporters stopped pretending to scroll through their phones. Because Crockett hadn't just called out an insult, she'd exposed the game, the unspoken rule that says, if we ignore it, it didn't happen. And she refused to play.
I don't need your apology, she said, her voice like steel. I need your words entered into history. This wasn't about shame. It was about proof. Proof that in 2024, a sitting U.S. senator could still reduce a black woman to a racist trope and think he'd get away with it. Within hours, the clip went nuclear. Not because it was scandalous, but because it was familiar. Every black professional, every woman of color in a boardroom, every marginalized person who's ever been told to take the high road recognized exactly what had happened. Crockett didn't just confront Vance, she confronted the system that taught men like him they could whisper bigotry and still keep their dignity. And the backlash? Predictable. Pundits called her divisive. Trolls claimed she overreacted. But here's what they missed. This wasn't about one man's slur. It was about the thousands of times these moments go unchallenged, the times women bite their tongues, the times people of color swallow their rage just to survive the room. Crockett refused to swallow hers, and in doing so, she gave others permission to do the same. History loves loud revolutions. But sometimes the most radical act is not moving, not blinking, not letting your anger be weaponized against you. Jasmine Crockett taught us that power isn't just about who yells loudest, it's about who stays standing when the room tries to erase them. So the next time someone tells you to calm down when you're disrespected, remember this moment. Remember that silence can be a weapon, that composure can be a revolution, and that sometimes the most dangerous thing you can do is absolutely nothing. Except, of course, say, would you like to repeat that for the record? This story isn't over, because rooms like 2141 exist everywhere, in corporate offices, in classrooms, in every space where power tries to silence truth. So hit subscribe, leave a comment, and keep watching, because the next time someone thinks they can get away with the unthinkable, we'll all be ready.